Last time on Falcon Radio Theater. Wow, we're in the studio, scripts are ready, mics are good. This is unusual. This is actually making me nervous. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Nah, we've never been this prepared. Nothing can possibly go wrong.
Hey, Dave, what's that outside?
Oh, that's just some school event going on.
That's no school event. Those are demons!
Oh, crap. Those do fit Stanley's description.
Oh, man. How are we gonna get out of this one?
Don't worry. I just texted Arnie. He'll be here soon.
Oh, so much blood and chaos!
Hopefully really soon.
Uh-oh. You know who's gonna want in on this. Someone said demons. Yeah, I'm here! I'm ready to take out the zombies! You idiot. Those aren't zombies. They're demons. Doesn't matter! I brought the Prius Omni Edition! I've got enough firepower to take on anything! Amateur, step aside. I'm the qualified demon hunter here. Do you know how many action movies I've been in? Bring it on, little monkey! Ah! How can little claws make such big gashes? Take this, monkey!
Guys? The school is being overrun? Couldn't you guys work this out later?
Yeah, the one who kills the most demons is the true demon hunter. You're on, Austrian muscle bag. Wow, that was fast. I never thought you could run over so many demons with a Prius.
Well, it's showtime. You think it's safe to start the show?
As long as the campus doesn't collapse around us.
All right. Scripts.
Check. Mics?
Check. Stanley?
Well, he's busy right now, but hopefully he'll get back in time before he's on.
All right, let's do this.
And now, the next episode of Falcon Radio Theater.
Good evening, guys. This is Falcon Radio Theater. I'm David Matsui.
I'm Walter Lutsch.
And we're your hosts for the evening. Our special guests joining us tonight are Katelin Tremonte.
Hello.
And Kat Miller.
Hi there.
Real quick before we get started with the show, guys, want to do a quick shout out. If you've been listening to the show and you really like what you're hearing and want to get involved, either if you've got a script, we'd love to have one from you if you want to send that to us, or if you just want to get involved as one of our voice actors, you can do so, either one, by emailing us at Falcon Radio Theater, that's theater with an R-E, not E-R, at gmail.com.
And also, if you're just liking what you hear, keep on listening and rope in any friends you can.
Or, just kidnap them. We tie them to a chair, force them to listen. We don't really care as long as people are listening.
Yep. And also, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Falcon Radio Theater. Spelled the same way.
Right. And with that, we get into our first script of the evening, which is Zucchini are plotting to take over the world, by Dwayne Yancey.
Betty is rushing over to see her friend Margaret. She has gotten a distress call from her friend and is fearing the worst. She rushes up the steps to the house and knocks on the door out of breath. She hears Margaret jump up to answer it, but Betty can't wait for her friend and instead pokes her head in.
Margaret, are you there?
Oh, thank goodness you got here.
I came as fast as I could.
Oh, I don't know what to do. It's all just so horrible.
What is it? Did something happen to Harold?
No.
To one of the children?
No, not them.
Well, what was it then? Did something happen to you?
Yes.
What was it? You can tell me.
It was... I was... I can't even think about it.
You've got to talk about it, Margaret. I'm your friend. I can help, but I can't help if I don't know what it is.
Yes, you're right.
Be strong, Margaret. I'm here for you. Anything, whatever it is, just tell me.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
I'm a woman, Margaret. I can believe anything. I believed my husband when he said he was going to clean out the gutters instead of playing golf today, didn't I? The lazy, good-for-nothing lout.
All right, well, I was out in the garden.
All right, this is good. You were out in the garden.
And I was picking out the tomatoes.
The tomatoes.
And the squash.
Oh, I love squash.
And when I got to the zucchini...
Yes, you got to the zucchini, and...
Well...
Yes.
They talked to me.
Who talked to? The crazy neighbors next door?
No, and don't call them crazy. They might hear you.
Who? The neighbors?
No, them.
Them who?
Them the zucchini, that's who.
The zucchini talked to you.
I knew you wouldn't believe me.
Margaret, zucchinis don't talk.
Mine do.
Zucchinis are vegetables.
Oh, that's where you're wrong. They're not vegetables. Well, they are, but they're much more than that.
All right, I'll humor you. What are they then?
They're aliens.
Zucchinis are aliens?
Yes.
Like aliens from out in space, not aliens like illegal aliens on the news aliens.
Aliens from the planet Zucon.
They told you this?
And more.
You had a whole conversation with them then?
Oh yes, it was a pretty one-sided conversation.
I'm sure.
No, it wasn't like that. They did most of the talking.
Margaret, you're scaring me.
And so did they.
A plant scared you.
They're taking over, you know.
Who are?
The zucchini. Haven't you been paying attention? They come down here as seeds. And look at them. They're reproducing like mad. Reproducing so much I can't keep up with them. I've used every recipe I could think of. I've made zucchini bread, zucchini lasagna, zucchini soup, zucchini pie.
Zucchini pie?
Oh, yes, you should try it. Harold won't touch it because it's all green and he hates vegetables. Anyway, but it's wonderful, especially with zucchini ice cream.
Zucchini ice cream?
I've had fried zucchini and baked zucchini and zucchini stuffed and zucchini hamburger helper and, well, that's when it hit me.
The zucchini not only talked to you, it hit you.
No, don't be silly. The idea hit me. The zucchini's just a vine.
Finally, we're making some progress. So, what was this idea that hit you?
War crimes.
Okay, you're not making any sense again.
I've been killing them, Margaret. I've been killing them and eating them. And you have too. Everyone in the neighborhood has been. The church supper, the food pantry, the old folks down at the rest home. We've all been eating them, and they know it.
They, the old folks.
They, the zucchini.
They told you this.
Oh, yes, they talk, you know, and some kind of telepathy thing they've got going on. They're a highly evolved species, you know, and someday, when they've taken over this planet, well, they're going to put me on trial, and they're going to put all of us on trial that have ever eaten zucchini, and, well, you know what's going to happen to us then?
I can hardly imagine.
They're going to strangle us with their little runners in our sleep, like this!
Margaret begins making choking sounds.
Margaret, I think you've been in the kitchen too much.
Oh, yes, I have been, and I've got blood on my hands, for sure. Well, actually, it's zucchini pulp, but it's no different from blood, except that it's green. See, that's proof that they're aliens.
Perhaps you need some fresh air.
Maybe so.
Why don't we just step outside for a bit?
Betty nudges Margaret toward the back door.
Oh, no, not out there.
What's wrong with out there?
That's where the tomatoes are. Didn't I tell you about the tomatoes?
The end. For our that was Zucchinis Are Plotting to Take Over the World by Dwayne Yancey. The narrator was played by Walter Lutsch. Margaret was played by Katelin Tremonte. And Betty was played by Kat Miller.
Our next script of the evening is going to be Catch of the Day by Dwayne Yancey.
One evening, in the dining room of a middle-class home, the woman of the house, Lois, is rushing about making last-minute preparations for a very special evening.
Oh!
Lois frantically runs out the dining room to the kitchen, just as her husband returns. Under his arm, he carries a bag from the market. Setting it down, he hangs up his coat.
I'm home.
Lois bolts back into the dining room from the kitchen.
Oh! Did you get it?
Yes, I got it.
Oh, what did you get?
Fish, just like you asked.
What kind of fish?
I don't know. The kind that swims in water, I suppose. Fish. Does it matter what kind?
Of course it matters what kind.
It's a dead fish. That's what kind it seems to be.
Edwin, I'd wish you'd take this more seriously.
I'm here, aren't I? And I have a fish.
Just one?
It's just one dinner, isn't it?
Yes, but it's an important dinner.
It certainly is. I'm starved. Now when will they be here so we can eat?
Edwin, is that all you can think about? Eating?
When I'm hungry, yes.
But this is our Olivia we're talking about.
I'm sure she'll be hungry too.
Edwin, this dinner isn't about eating.
Oh, will there be food too, though, won't there?
Yes, there'll be food. Don't be silly.
Then it's about eating.
It's about Olivia and her new boyfriend. We do want to make a good impression on him, you know.
Shouldn't he be the one trying to make the good impression on us?
Yes, well, I'm sure he will be. But you know...
I know what.
She's not getting any younger, for God's sake.
She's 25!
Exactly!
Lois, I think it's time you stop trying to play matchmaker.
I am not trying to play matchmaker. Technically, she's already found a match.
Good.
I'm just trying to make sure it lasts.
I really don't think that's any of our business.
And now you know how very painfully shy Olivia can be sometimes. So, I expect you to hold up your end of the conversation.
Oh, I intend to. Could you pass the salt and pepper, please? Thank you. Care for some more bread? Butter? You're welcome. How's that?
More than hold up your end of the conversation.
Fine. I'll ask for seconds then.
I'm serious. Here. Use this.
Lois shoves a piece of paper at Edwin.
What's this?
Just some suggestions.
For what?
For dinner time conversation. I know how you take after Olivia. I suppose technically she takes after you, but you know what I mean.
You know, that reminds me of the time when... Fill in the blanks with appropriate anecdote.
Ideally, something mildly humorous, but not terribly embarrassing.
And then there was that one time when... Fill in the blanks.
Ideally, something about Olivia. Something cute, something endearing, but nothing about the naked baby pictures. Well, save those for later.
So, how about those Mariners, huh?
But only if he seems like he's a sports fan. It's still baseball season, right? If not, you can substitute something about the weather. That's always a good one.
Lois, what is this?
It's sort of like one of those little tourist phrase books.
I'm surprised it doesn't say which way is the bathroom.
Well, feel free to add it if you think you need it. Just nothing that's gonna make him uncomfortable.
Well, that's helpful.
No politics, no religion, and definitely nothing about what he does for a living.
What does he do for a living?
I have no idea, but I'm sure it'll come out naturally. We just don't want to make him feel, pressured.
Pressured to what?
Propose! What else?
Oh, good grief. They just met.
Edwin,
Yes, Lois?
what kind of fish is this? Besides dead, I mean.
I don't know. It was something exotic. I think they called it the catch of the day. Why?
It just looks so strange.
Just then, the doorbell rings.
Well, strange or not, you'd better hurry up and cook it because they're here.
Oh! You get the door.
What's this guy's name?
Oh, I don't know. She didn't tell me. I just asked if she'd bring her new boyfriend, and she said she would. Oh! Don't forget your phrase book.
Once again, Lois rushes into the kitchen, this time with the fish.
I think I can open the door on my own, thank you very much.
Edwin secretly consults his phrase book and rehearses a line under his breath, then goes to open the door. Standing at the door is his daughter, Olivia, and her boyfriend, Spike. Olivia smiles shyly at her dad, while Spike, who is clad in black leather and chains and looks very dangerous, grins.
Hello, bonjour, hola, welcome to our happy home.
Oh, Daddy, don't be silly. It's just me.
Sorry, just following orders, and this must be...
Oh, this is,
Spike!
Spike.
Yeah, Spike! Spike gestures towards some of the spikes on his jacket. You know, Spike!
Right. Well, welcome, Spike.
Edwin extends a hand, but Spike doesn't seem to notice. Yeah, you too.
So,
Edwin glances down at his phrase book.
can I take your coat?
Depends. Where you gonna take it to?
The coat closet?
I guess. Don't like to let too many people touch my colors, man.
Colors?
You know how it is, dude.
Yeah. I know how it is, dude.
Spike belongs to a motorcycle gang. Isn't that right?
I'm sure they'd prefer the term neighborhood association.
The Grim Reapers. The skull on the colors means I've got a death head status. That's 'cause I'm a chapter president.
Well, nothing like showing potential leadership.
Yeah, well, I've had a few lucky breaks. The last chip the president got sentenced to life plus 20.
I see. Well,
Spike removes his jacket, revealing a wife-beater-style shirt beneath. In addition to the shirt, almost every inch of visible skin is covered with tattoos. Here you go, dude.
Wow. Maybe you better keep that. It gets chilly in here sometimes. Very, chilly. So,
Edwin glances down at the phrasebook.
why don't you two have a seat?
Sure, why not? Spike lays down on the sofa, stretching himself across it until almost all the available seating space is gone, and picks up the remote. Olivia just stands by the sofa.
You can sit down too, Olivia. I'm sure we could find a nice footstool.
That's okay. I'll just go check on Mom in the kitchen.
Olivia wanders over to the kitchen. Oh, look! Pro wrestling!
I think I better check on her too.
Whatever, dude.
Lois?
Edwin rushes into the kitchen.
Oh yeah, SmackDown! Put him in a headlock!
Just then, Lois enters, excited to greet Spike. She hurries over to him and ends up inadvertently standing between Spike and the TV.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
Oh.
You mind moving a bit? You're blocking my view.
Sorry.
Lois steps aside and readies herself to meet Spike.
I'm Lois. Welcome to our home.
Yeah. Thanks. So do we eat anytime soon?
Oh, yes, right away. Oh.
Lois hurries toward the kitchen. As she does so, Edwin enters.
I see you've met...
Coming through! I've got to get dinner on the table. Move!
Lois rushes past him into the kitchen.
Spike.
Edwin looks back, confused. Not sure what to do now, he consults his phrasebook to address Spike.
So, can I, get you anything to drink?
Gouge his eyes out, bite his ear off, grab him by the nose and use his head like a bowling ball!
I think I'd better get myself something to drink.
Edwin pours himself a drink and downs it.
That's right, kick him when he's down, beat him to a bloody pulp!
Better make that a double.
Edwin pours himself another drink and downs it. Lois enters triumphantly with dishes. Olivia follows along behind.
And here we are. Come and get it, everybody.
Olivia goes over to the TV to get Spike.
That was fast.
Don't tell anybody, but I microwaved it.
You microwaved the whole fish. Shh! I think I'll pass.
I was in a hurry. Now, remember what I told you. Make a good impression.
Edwin waves his phrasebook at her.
Good thing I know how to ask for more bread.
So, everyone come have a seat. Spike, why don't you sit right?
Spike sits in Edwin's seat at the head of the table.
Or there, that's fine too. Different strokes for different folks. There. Is everyone comfy?
Well, my butt's a little sore.
Yeah, I get a bad case of the hemorrhoids too.
Edwin.
What? I'm trying to establish some rapport, make a good impression on all that.
Well, I don't think talking about your hemorrhoids is going to do it.
Actually, it's my new tattoo.
Okay, so much for rapport.
Edwin.
Spike works at a tattoo parlor.
Oh, how nice. Isn't that nice, Edwin?
At least he works.
So, you probably got a discount on it then. I'm something of a bargain hunter myself.
Nah, I did it myself.
Oh, dear heavens.
What was that, Edwin?
Nothing.
I think what Edwin was trying to say is that it's time to say grace. Wasn't that right, dear?
Not really, but...
Keep it short and keep it non-denominational. We don't want to risk offending our guest.
Should I keep it non-religious too?
That might be best.
Edwin bows his head for a prayer and then blurts out,
Okay, thanks, let's eat. How's that? Was that non-denominational enough?
It was certainly short enough. So, help yourselves, everybody. Dig in. There's plenty more where all that came from. Except for the fish. I'm afraid Edwin only got one.
It was a big fish.
You know I'm just teasing. So, Olivia, how are things at work?
They're fine.
Now, Spike, is it? Don't be shy about asking for anything. I'm afraid Olivia is very shy. She's always been something of a shrinking violet, a wallflower, a potted plant.
Mother, I'm not a potted plant.
Now, dear, you know you're not very outgoing. She's always had such a hard time meeting new people, poor dear. That's why we're so thrilled she brought you tonight, Spike. So, tell us, how'd you two meet anyway?
Spike drains his wine glass with a slurp. You got any more of this?
Edwin, could you get some more wine, dear?
Sure, I'll just pop down to the wine cellar and open a new cask.
Edwin gets up to fetch more wine.
We don't want our guests to run dry.
It's not running dry, I'm afraid of.
And white. Be sure it's white. White goes with fish, you know.
So does tartar sauce, but we don't chug that either.
Edwin heads into the kitchen.
So, Spike, you work in
A tattoo parlor.
Yes, one of those. It must be fascinating work.
We're supposed to call it a studio. Makes it sound better somehow.
Yes, I suppose it does, now that you mention it. It's sort of like being an artist in a way. Did you like to draw when you were little?
Not really. I just like to jab people with needles.
Oh my. Oh, I get it now. That was a joke.
Oh, no joke. I really did like to jab people. Still do.
Oh, you sure are a kidder. I do love a man with a sense of humor. Don't you, Olivia?
Olivia starts to answer, but as she tries to mouth the word mother, she suddenly freezes.
Oh, you don't have to answer that, dear. I don't mean, nothing like that, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean, don't you, Spike?
Whoa!
I just meant, well, you know what I meant. Spike knows what I meant. I think we understand each other. I really do, don't you? Oh, you don't have to answer that. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. If Olivia weren't so shy, she'd probably me for saying such things. But it's true, or at least I feel it's true. I just feel this connection. I wonder what's taking Edwin so long. He must be having trouble with the cork. You know how those old bottles are. The more they age, the harder they are to get out.
Found some more wine.
Oh, there you are. We were wondering what happened to you.
Dang screw top wouldn't come off.
Oh, Edwin's such a kidder.
No, seriously, this is one of those cheap brands.
Lois stomps on Edwin's foot.
Ow! The cork! Yes, the cork. This is probably vintage. At least back to the time of Napoleon. Maybe even the French Revolution.
What did I tell you? Such a kidder.
It was probably there when they stormed Bastille.
Edwin.
So, here's some of the bubbly. Just say when.
Edwin pours Spike another glass of wine, but Spike says nothing as the glass starts to fill up.
When?
Oh, go ahead and fill it up, Edwin. This is no time to hold back.
Of course not, ma'am. I'll inform the sommelier to send up another cask.
You know, that reminds me of when Edwin and I here were dating, and he took me to this fancy French restaurant, and of course he was trying to impress me. He was such a dear, but he didn't have the faintest notion about how to go about ordering wine, so when the waiter came by with the wine list...
Edwin finally stops pouring the wine. The glass is full, and Spike has yet to respond.
Lois.
Oh, it's all right, dear. I'll leave out all the parts that make you blush. You wouldn't know it, but Edwin blushes so much sometimes.
It's not that.
I just thought Spike here would like to hear a story about when we were dating. It's such a sweet story, really.
Why do you think Spike is staring like that?
What? Oh, hush, dear, that's rude. He's just paying rapt attention. Isn't that right, Spike?
Either that or he's bored out of his skull. I don't mean the one on the back of his leather jacket.
Oh, Spike's not bored, are you, Spike? See, he's not bored. Just look at the smile on his face.
That's a smile?
Well, sort of. In a James Dean kind of way. I like it. And obviously Olivia likes it too. Isn't that right, dear? It's very... manly.
Edwin waves his hand in front of Spike's face.
What are you doing?
Edwin sniffs the wine.
Edwin?
Finally, Edwin turns to Olivia and waves his hand in front of her face.
Are you out of your mind?
No, but apparently they are.
What?
Edwin waves his hand in front of Olivia's face and then Spike's face. Lois leans over to investigate.
Spike? Spike?
Now Lois waves her hand and becomes concerned.
Spike? Hello? Edwin, what's going on here?
I don't know, but I wouldn't drink any more of that wine if I were you.
Edwin checks the pulse of the couple.
What? I mean, I know it goes to the head pretty quick, especially on an empty stomach, but are you telling me they're drunk?
I don't think they're drunk.
Then why are they both staring out into space like that? Like they're some kind of zombie.
They both still have a pulse.
Oh my god, are they dead?
Lois, are you listening to me? I just said they have a pulse.
Olivia! Olivia! Speak to me, Olivia. I know you're quiet and shy, so I won't make you say much. You can just whisper it in my ear if that would be better.
They must be having some kind of reaction.
Spike! Spike! Can you hear me? Are you still in there? Spike! Spike! You know, he has the deepest blue eyes I've ever seen. I can tell why Olivia fell for him.
Lois!
I'm just trying to help the mood. You know, in case he can still hear us. He might be able to, you know.
Let's just think through this logically. The wine. Have you had any of your wine?
A little. Why? Oh no. Do you think it's poisoned?
Not if we all had it. What have they had that we haven't?
Tattoos. I don't know about Olivia, but Spike has more than enough for the two of them.
I mean to eat.
Oh! Oh!
Lois scurries around the table.
The salt. The pepper. The fish. The fish! You haven't had any of your fish, have you? Why haven't you had any of your fish?
I've been too busy playing Maitre D.
I haven't had any either. I guess I've been too busy playing matchmaker.
It must be the fish. Maybe you didn't cook it long enough.
Of course I cooked it long enough. I pressed the highest setting, dinner plate.
Well, something's wrong with them. Just look at them.
Lois waves her hand in front of Spike's face.
They look so happy, don't they?
Well, just humor me and go get the package it came in. Maybe there's something in the instructions.
Oh! You kids stay right here, you hear?
Lois,
Yes?
I don't think they're going anywhere.
Oh, right. Oh!
Lois exits as Edwin goes back to the table and studies the situation. Edwin eyes Spike's wine.
Oh, what the hell.
Edwin downs Spike's wine as Lois enters. She's holding a piece of wet newspaper that was wrapped around the fish.
Edwin, this is all that I could find that came with the fish. What is it?
Lois hands Edwin the wet newspaper.
Looks like the sports page to me.
I mean the language.
I don't know. It looks Japanese or Chinese or something. But it looks like whatever team that is there is in first place.
And then there was this.
Lois hands Edwin a smaller piece of paper.
Fugu?
That's all it says.
Fugu.
Maybe it's like a fortune cookie, and that's the fortune.
Maybe it's the town it's from.
Maybe it's the type of fish. I told you should find out what kind of fish it was.
Well, let's look it up.
In what?
A cookbook? The World Almanac? The Internet? Anything.
Here.
What's this?
A dictionary.
A dictionary. Okay, well, it's better than nothing.
Fugu. Here it is.
What's it say?
A fish native to the Pacific Ocean, popular in Japan as a delicacy. Members of the tetrodontoid family, so named because some of the organs contain tetrodotoxin, a toxin 1,200 times more powerful than cyanide. One fish contains enough poison to kill 30 people.
Small amounts of the poison, properly prepared, are said to enhance the taste to the point that the diners experience feelings of ecstasy, hence the popularity of fugu. In Japan, chefs who serve fugu are required to obtain a special license because the dish is so dangerous.
Oh my god. You've poisoned them.
Me? You're the one who cooked it.
You're the one who brought the thing home.
You told me to buy fish. I bought fish.
A poisoned fish.
A delicacy. It says right there. It's a delicacy.
In Japan. A delicacy in Japan. This isn't Japan.
But it's not like I went out and bought something with skull and crossbones on it.
No, you went out and bought something worse.
I asked the man what he had and he said, "Here, try this." How was I supposed to know?
Can't I trust you to do anything? I sent you to the store to buy a simple fish, and what do you come home with? A toxic waste dump. That is not a fish. That's a chemistry set with fins.
Look, never mind all that. We need to figure out what to do.
Oh, poison control. We should call poison control.
And water. I bet they need water to delete the poison.
Edwin exits to get water, while Lois dials poison control.
Hello, Poison Control. This is... Oh, what nice music. Edwin, do you recognize the song they're playing? It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Edwin enters with a pitcher of water.
Sorry, a little busy here.
Tip of my tongue. That's an odd thing to think when you're calling Poison Control, don't you think?
Personally, I think it's odd that they put you on hold.
Oh, they did, didn't they? I'm glad it's an 800 number then.
Edwin pours some water in the mouth of Olivia.
Okay, here you go. Bottoms up.
Edwin begins to start running back and forth as he pours water into the mouth of Spike.
Oh, here they are. Hello. Yes, this is a... Oh, never mind who I am. You see, my idiot husband went out and bought this strange fish and...
Hey!
Well, you did! And anyway, I asked him what it was, and he didn't know. You know how men are. And, well, I figured it's just a fish, right? And anyway, I fixed the thing, and it turns out to be a fugu. And now my daughter and her new boyfriend are... What's that? A fugu. Fugu. Surely you've heard of it. It's a delicacy in Japan, except this isn't Japan, and now everyone who's eaten it is sitting there with a big grin on their face, and they're... no, wait, that's just the water my stupid husband spilled on them, and...
Glad to see I'm not an idiot husband anymore.
No, this isn't a prank call. Whatever would make you think... Hello? Hello? They hung up! Can you believe that? Poison Control hung up on me!
There, that should do something.
Edwin brushes water off Spike's black leather jacket.
Ooh, I hope that doesn't shrink.
Edwin. Edwin!
What?
Did you hear a word I was saying?
Every word.
So what are we going to do?
Well, what's the book say?
Oh, the book. Right. The rules for serving fugu are extremely strict.
I think you can skip over that part.
Symptoms of fugu poisoning includes pallor. Olivia always had looked rather pale.
Just read.
Prickling or tingling of the mouth. Excuse me, Spike, is your mouth tingling?
Lois, he can't talk.
Right. Sweating. They do look sweaty to me. Don't they look sweaty to you? Or is that all the water you just spilled on them?
Go on.
Numbness. Definitely numbness.
What else?
Death.
Okay, well, let's go back to the other ones. What does it say to do?
There is no known antidote. So what's that mean? We just wait it out?
Let's see. Depending on the amount of the toxin consumed, the effect of the poison either wears off or proves fatal within a matter of hours.
Let me see that.
Lois grabs the book back and reads.
One unusual characteristic of fugu poisoning is that the victim remains fully conscious throughout the ordeal. Oh! So they can hear us in there.
Apparently.
Lois taps on Olivia's head.
Oh, Olivia.
I don't think you need to knock.
We're right here, darling. I just want you to know that we're here for you. And if there's anything we can do... Well, I guess there really isn't anything we can do. But if there were, I'm sure we'd do it. So, we're just gonna sit here and wait until... Well, we're just gonna sit here and wait and...
Lois realizes that Edwin has returned to the table and is eating his meal.
Edwin! What are you doing?
Nothing. Why?
You're eating!
So?
How can you eat at a time like this?
It's dinner time. People usually eat at dinner time.
But we have a crisis on our hands.
A crisis we can't really do anything about. Ergo, I'm eating.
You're hopeless.
On the contrary, I'm quite hopeful. The book said most people recover.
I give up.
Besides, it's not like I'm eating the fish. The mashed potatoes are quite delicious, actually.
Oh, why thank you.
Could you pass the bread, please?
Lois reaches for the bowl when she notices something.
Edwin,
Yes.
did you see that?
Did I see what?
I could have sworn... There it is again!
What?
Spike!
Lois goes to take a closer look at Spike.
Yes, that is the one they call Spike, though I somehow doubt it's his given name.
Edwin, he can hear you!
You're right, how rude of me.
He turns to Spike.
You know, if you ever ran for office, you know what your slogan could be? I like Spike.
Lois shoots him a dirty look.
What now?
I told you, no politics.
Sorry, I'll just stick to the phrasebook from now on.
Good.
Lois is closely inspecting Spike as Edwin resumes eating.
Well, go on.
What?
The list I gave you.
What's the point? He can't talk back.
It doesn't matter. He can hear us. So, you need to keep up your end of the conversation.
And his too, apparently.
Just say something.
Fine.
Edwin consults his list.
So, Spike, I was reading in the paper just the other day that...
Oh, go on. Don't dive me. You're doing fine.
What are you doing?
I told you. I thought I saw something.
As close as you are, I think you could see his pores. The ones that aren't covered up by tattoos, that is.
Oh, he twitched. See? He just wiggled his nose. Just like a bunny rabbit. A cute little bunny rabbit.
You know, somehow when I look at Spike, I don't think of bunny rabbits.
I think he's trying to tell us something.
That he wants me to pass the carrots?
Edwin, be serious.
I am. I'm the only one here eating my dinner, and you're the one twisted all around like a contortionist.
He did it again. His nose twitched. You know what that means, don't you?
Sorry, I don't know bunny.
It means he's coming out of it.
Oh, that's... Whoa, you may be right.
See? He's blinking his eyes. He's trying to move his lips.
Spike starts making an undecipherable noise.
He's trying to say something.
Olivia starts moving a few muscles too.
And Olivia, she's moving too.
They're coming out of it.
They're coming out of it.
We did it.
Well, actually, we didn't do anything, but...
Spike starts to howl like an animal, a howl that starts low and then ends joyfully. Whoa! Spike comes out of his trance.
Oh, are you all right? Please say you're all right. Oh, I am so sorry. It was all a mistake. You see, my idiot husband here, he went out and got...
Hey!
Sorry. My stupid husband here, he went out and got...
That was awesome!
I beg your pardon?
That was awesome! That was fantastic! That was incredible!
What was?
That fish! What kind of sauce was that you put on it? Whatever it was, I've never had anything like it. Well, there was that one time I had those mushrooms, but other than that, wow! Now Olivia starts to come out of her trance. She starts to sputter.
Mama.
Olivia, are you okay?
Olivia comes out of her trance.
Oh, I'm more than okay. Aren't you more than okay?
I'm very okay.
Oh, thank goodness, we thought we had lost you.
Here, have some water.
Spike gestures to the water spilled on him earlier. That's okay, thanks. I think I've had enough.
Oh, sorry.
Spike grabs the bottle that Edwin brought out earlier. But this looks all right. Spike chugs down some of the wine.
1 minute you were sitting there, and the next minute, well, I guess you were still sitting there, except you weren't moving and... Oh God, it was horrible.
Horrible? It was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Out of this world.
Really?
Oh, goodness, yes. It was like... Well, you don't really want to know what it was like.
Oh, but they should.
Should what?
Try it.
What? The fish?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. I saw what that thing did to the two of you.
Ah, but you didn't feel it. The way it tingled, the way it sent shivers down the spine, the way it... Oh, it makes me blush just thinking about it.
Oh, I love it when you blush.
Oh, you do you?
Oh, yeah. Spike and Olivia kiss as Edwin reads the dictionary.
They're right.
About what?
Right here. Old Japanese saying. You are a fool to eat fugu, and you are a fool not to.
You can't be serious.
It's right here.
But...
Edwin coughs knowingly and nods to indicate Olivia and Spike locked in a deep embrace.
Well, maybe just a little.
Edwin and Lois start eating the fish.
The end. That was Catch of the Day by Dwayne Yancey. The part of Edwin was played by Dave Matsui. The part of Spike was played by Walter Lutsch. The part of Lois was played by Kat Miller, and the part of Olivia was played by Katelin Tremonte.
And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and you guys can have fun listening to Arnie.
Are you ready to lie on a sandy beach and work on your tan? Well, forget about it! You're on Arnie's Cruise Lines now! Setting sail for destinations no other cruise line will dare go! Looking for a whirl of a good time? Try our soothing Bermuda Triangle package. 6 days in the middle of a hurricane, and we guarantee an encounter with at least one sea monster. Want something a little toastier? Try our tropical active volcano package. You've never had steak until you've had it barbecued over fresh lava. Looking for an invigorating workout? Sign up for our North Pole package. Get your blood pumping with a 500k run to the snow, and afterwards cool off with a refreshing dip in the Arctic Ocean. Book your next vacation with Arnie's Cruise Lines for a trip you'll never forget.
Welcome back, guys. And for our last script of the evening, we have the next adventure in our continuing serial, The Adventures of Bubba and Stanley.
Last week, on The Adventures of Stanley and Bubba, Stanley, an ancient demon-hunting monkey forced to pretend that he is a stuffed toy, and Bubba, a monk from a distant land trapped in the form of a Buddha statue, have embarked on a quest to defeat a demon disguised as a lawn flamingo that has invaded the yard outside of their dwelling. With their first attempt ending in defeat, the two demon hunters have regrouped inside the apartment they call their home. Now they must deal with the consequences of the first battle and devise a new strategy to destroy the evil flamingo. This is the Bead Quest, Part 5.
Bubba wrenched himself out of another meditation. Now outside of his meditative state, he worked to regain control over his form as it shifted from inanimate statue to his more mobile form. The restless meditations, the fight with the demon, and the loss of the beads were draining his reserve of inner peace, gradually depriving him of his only means of keeping the animate form. The monk had hoped that today he would be able to meditate and restore his inner peace, but the demon's previous interruptions on his meditations had worsened. As he released his focus on the external world to refocus on his inner self, he felt his control over both snatched away. Bubba fought to recapture his concentration, but the demon was too powerful, and Bubba only wearied himself. Sensing his strength depleting, he had struggled to break out again from his meditation. Now he was fighting just to control his form. Thankfully, he felt the shifting cease, and he was able to move freely. The statue inhaled deeply and sighed. It had been 2 days since Bubba had awoken, surprised to discover he was once again on top of the slave box. If the beads had not been missing and his arm not burning, he would have believed the battle with the demon was just a dream. Now a faint and familiar sound caught his attention, and the statue peered around the corner to see Stanley, who was once again sitting at the invisible gate to the outside world, chattering angrily at the creature. The monk knew somehow this crazy little monkey had gotten out onto the battlefield, fended off the creature, and rescued him, although he still wasn't completely sure of how it had happened, as he hadn't talked with Stanley since the battle. Stanley had tried many times to communicate with Bubba, but each time the statue remained silent as the rock he resembled. The last attempt ended with the monkey walking off, muttering about teamwork and ungratefulness. Bubba shook his head. His silence was not due to any ungratefulness he felt towards Stanley, but to the monk's shame. Shame because he had tricked his ally. Shame for thinking he could do it all on his own. Shame for losing the beads, and shame over the defeat. How could he possibly tell Stanley, who understood little or nothing he spoke, how he felt? Thus the monk held his silence sadly. Across the fuzzy floor, Stanley wandered away from the invisible door. The monkey's gaze suddenly rose and looked at the statue. The pair stared across the distance of floor separating them. With his brow furrowed, Stanley's anger was evident to the statue. But Bubba thought he could see more. Hurt, maybe, or sadness. Bubba looked at Stanley a moment longer before glancing away. For the first time since his adventure out of the monastery had begun, the monk's training for restoring his internal and emotional balance was failing him. But Bubba felt that something else in his life was out of balance too. The relationship between him and his housemate was damaged, and both were suffering because of it. Bubba realized that somehow he had to restore that balance. The monk decided the situation required a peace offering. The question was, what did a monkey consider a peace offering? Initially he thought of a banana, but then decided against it, realizing Stanley might be insulted. Instead, he decided to explore Dave's sanctuary for ideas. After discovering the only strange trinkets and the smelly white foot coverings he had seen the elders wearing, Bubba left Dave's sanctuary. He rolled to the last room at the end of the hall, the room belonging to the roommate, to continue his search. Inside, the statue found only dirty garments adorning the floor. Levitating, he surveyed the view from higher up and spotted something he didn't recognize. He drifted down atop a wooden garment-storing box and peered into a jar filled with white, puffy objects that looked like the clouds he had settled between before on the elder's bed. The former clouds had been bigger, though, than the ones the monk saw now. These clouds he could easily hold in his hand. They also had a sweet sugary scent to them. He picked up one close and examined it. The thing seemed to be squishy, but with an ability to retain its shape. Closing his hand around it, he squeezed slightly, and the thing exploded in his hand, squishing out between his fingers. Bubba stared down at his right hand. The thing left a sticky white goo on his hand, but Bubba was confused. Why had it exploded? He had exerted so little pressure on it. A sharp twitch made him glance at his right arm. The scar, where the creature had scratched him, throbbed an angry yellow. Bubba realized the demon's power still dominated him. Raising it, he glared at the scar. He would regain control of his arm, and he and Stanley together would defeat this demon. As he stared at his arm, he noticed the white goo on his hand again. He touched the spot, and as he removed his finger, the white stuff lifted with it. He continued to lift the goo until it suddenly snapped. Noticing again the sugary odor, he curiously touched his tongue to his finger and sampled the substance. It was sweet and tasty. The monk smiled a big grin, the first in days. He had found his peace offering, monkey food. After placing several of the puffy treats into a small cup sitting nearby, the statue hurried out of the room to find the monkey. He held out the small container of monkey food as he approached Stanley. Setting it down to the confused monkey, he spoke. "Stanley, my friend, I am sorry I ran off into battle without you, and I am sorry that I have lost the beads, our only weapon against the creature. But most of all, I am sorry I tricked you. I ask that you would accept this collection of monkey food as an apology for my mistakes." Stanley stared down at the container Bubba had gestured to, and then back at Bubba. Had the monkey understood what he had said? Did he realize what the monkey food was meant to be? Suddenly, chattering excitedly, the little monkey dived forward and embraced Bubba, knocking over the container on the way. The statue was caught off guard, and was also knocked to the floor by the monkey's flying hug. Oh, thank you, Stanley. I'm glad you like it. Now we really should get back to planning. I mean, this isn't the time for... Oh, why not? Bubba embraced the little monkey back. They could plan later. Right now, he was going to savor the fact that a balance, a friendship, had been restored.
Stanley shakes his head in disagreement with his stone companion. Chattering in annoyance, he tries to explain to Bubba that he does not think the beads are necessary to vanquishing the puffbird. Still, the Buddha is adamant that the string of round stones is essential to victory. Stanley sighs to himself, realizing that the faith Bubba has put in the string is so great, he refuses to listen to anything to the contrary. They continue to plan, Stanley resigning himself to at least saying that he will act out the part of the plan that involves retrieving the beads. After many drawings, gesturing, hand signals, and chattering, the two are able to hammer out a plan of attack. Stanley assures Bubba, for the moment at least, that he will stick to it. Bubba nods again, and once more explains the basic outline. The two of them will take their leave of the dwelling through the window in Dave's sanctuary. From there, they will approach the evil puffbird, studying its movements for a time, before acting. Giving Bubba a quick shove, Stanley will wait until the rolling Buddha is thoroughly distracting the creature by rolling about its feet, before the monkey darts into the bushes where the beads were lost. Once Stanley has found the beads, he is to launch himself at the flamingo, distracting it further as Stanley passes the beads to Bubba and scratches and bites his enemy, while the statue uses the power of the beads to bind the creature where it stands. Then Bubba will use his floating attack, becoming massively heavy many paces upward, above the puffbird, and simultaneously crushing its body and banishing its evil soul from this realm. This is the part Stanley enjoys hearing about most, and he has his friend repeat it many times under the guise of not understanding. As the two split up to begin their preparations, Stanley sighs to himself once again. Bubba is so preoccupied with getting his beads back, he is scarcely capable of thinking of anything else. Stanley has tried to convey his belief in their teamwork, and the ability to defeat the pink monstrosity by themselves, without the aid of the string of pebbles, but Bubba's life is guided by them, a concept Stanley left behind many years ago. Prowling the soft furniture against one of the walls, he kneads the cushions with his claws a couple of times to settle his nerves, once again going over his own plan in his mind. With some trepidation, he gives some thought to utilizing skills and powers that Bubba has no knowledge of. Powers that the ancient monkey had promised himself he would never consider, never even think of again. Still, Stanley's eyes narrow in contemplation, resigning himself to calling upon means of combat he has not used in years beyond counting, should the flamingo prove more powerful than the two of them can normally overcome. An hour by the ticking machine in the kitchen passes, before they meet in the sanctuary of Dave. Today it smells of 2-week-old socks and peppermint, and Dave had forgotten to put the heating monster to sleep before he left. Stanley pants a little as he scampers across the floor toward the window, leaping at the string conveniently placed nearby. Climbing swiftly to the top, he leaps to the narrow ledge, pushing and shoving with all his strength at the little lever that opened the glass portal before chattering in success down at Bubba. The statue floats up from the floor and hopes to open the glass far enough for Bubba's somewhat puckish exterior to exit. Leaping lithely down to the grassy ground outside, Stanley exults for a moment in the smell of fresh air and the warmth of the sun on his fur, before hearing Bubba's strangled cry for help and turning to see the statue stuck, half in and half out of the window. Chattering in frustration, Stanley makes a running leap at the building, wind-walking up the flat surface as far as he can before thrusting his paws out to catch at Bubba's outstretched arm. Yanking as hard as he can, Stanley finds himself swinging from side to side, blowing a bit in the wind as he hangs tightly onto Bubba's palm. Muttering about the disproportions of monks, the monkey finally sets his hind feet against the side of the building with a mighty heave, brings the both of them flying straight to the ground. After a short rest, Stanley and Bubba approach the corner of the building that is the last place of cover between them and the flamingo. Stanley stretches his neck around the edge, perched on the Buddha's stone head. There the evil creature sits, preening itself in arrogance. Stanley's eyes narrow to angry slits as he takes one last look at his enemy before clambering off Bubba's bald head. Bubba gives the signal to begin, so Stanley moves behind him and puts his back to his friend. After a couple of breaths, he shoves as hard as he can and sends the statue rolling toward the demon bird, crushing dandelions and grass alike as he goes. The monkey glances over at the bushes where he is supposed to go. This is the moment of his decision. He senses a forked path, which will determine the fate of the battle. He closes his eyes in thought, the image of that fork in his mind. He is Stanley, the aged one, the defender, the monkey of many years, and he will ignore the two paths before him and go tramping through the forest, forging his own as he goes. Flicking his gaze to the side of the building, he launches himself at the thick pipe that the humans use to catch the rain and bring it to the ground. Climbing efficiently to the top, he once again reaches the flat plateau. Perching on the edge, he watches Bubba as the statue rolls around and around the slightly confused but still arrogantly confident pile of pink feathers. Growling a bit in anticipation of vanquishing the evil creature, Stanley throws himself off the edge of the plateau and feels the wind buffet his furred body as he hurtles through space toward his enemy. The flamingo must have been completely unaware, because Stanley heard it emit a hilarious squawk of befuddlement as the monkey latched onto the bird's serpentine neck in midair, bringing it to the ground and choking it half to death in the process. Chattering at Bubba to attack with his floating maneuver, Stanley holds grimly onto the evil bird's neck as it struggles to rise. The monkey sighs as Bubba demands that they need the beads, but Stanley just repeats the same order to kill the beast, caring not whether his friend thinks he misunderstands or anything, just so long as the statue floats up and does as they planned, before the flamingo can muster the strength to move out of the way. Stanley watches the Buddha sigh in consternation before beginning his flight up to the heavens. The pink monstrosity begins to get its feet under it, so Stanley squeezes harder on its neck, trying to cut off its air, or whatever passes through its beak to keep it alive. Just the same, the flamingo gets to its feet, and as Stanley watches Bubba transform high above them to the immensely heavy statue form, the monkey is violently flung back and forth. The puff bird whips its head and neck back and forth so fast and with so much force that Stanley is unable to hold on for more than a little bit before he is sent sailing through the air to thwack into the great wooden wall separating the backyard from whatever lays beyond it. Groggily, Stanley rises to a sitting position from where he had slid to the ground. He must have fallen asleep for a little time, as Bubba now sits before him in a creature of his own making. The evil pile of pig feathers stands triumphantly nearby, about to strike at the Buddha. Without thinking, Stanley throws himself at the flamingo, but before he knows what is happening, Bubba's arm lashes out, and his stone-like paw closes tightly around Stanley's furry body. Locking gazes with his friend, Stanley realizes immediately that this is the puff bird controlling his friend's arm, and he sees tears roll down the gray stone of Bubba's cheeks. Stanley immediately goes limp, calming himself completely and staring into his friend's eyes. The monkey stares, knowing instantly the plan that will save them, the weapon he possesses that can help them destroy the pink monstrosity, if only Bubba, his friend, can fight the demonic control of their enemy. So Stanley stares into his friend's eyes, and in perfect chattered Chinese he says, "I believe in you, my friend." The end. That was The Bead Quest, Part 5, written by Walter Lutsch and David Matsui. The recap was read by Katelin Tremonte, the part of Bubba was played by David Matsui, and the part of Stanley was played by Walter Lutsch. And right now we're going to go to a quick but very important PSA.
Hello, this is Stanley the Demon Hunter. While our stories are sometimes overstated, demons are a very real threat, and only you can stop them from taking over the world. Now let's see what we've gotten on Hotline today. You know what? Never mind. I'd like to take this chance to send a message to the Thai Corporation. There's been something I'd like to say to them for a long time. Jungle? Really? You make a stuffed monkey toy, and the best name you can think of is Jungle. The place a monkey lives. I mean, what, are the stuffed ducks named Pond, and the turtles named Ocean? That's really the best you could do? One of these days I'm going to come down there and make you change the name on this tag, because this is humiliating. In fact, I might just nip a few ankles around the factory floor. Shame on you people for using such a generic name.
Okay, Stanley, that's enough now. I'm sure the Thai Corporation is fully aware of your dissatisfaction.
Meh. Fine. Remember, if you see a demon, call 1-800 Stanley kills all the demons. Thank you. Goodbye. Chuckle the monkey.
Remember, that's 1-800-72-6539-5455-7255-8433366667.
Welcome back, guys, and that's all we've got for tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show this evening.
And make sure, if you've been enjoying the Bead Quest, make sure you come back next week for the last episode.
And if you're interested in learning more about Stanley, Bubba, and their various friends and companions, don't forget to check out our Facebook page where you can find a link to a blog with more of their adventures.
I'm David Matsui.
I'm Walter Lutsch.
I'm Katelin Tremonte.
I'm Kat Miller.
And we're signing off for the night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, guys.